All right. So this is Kenny Santos out of Toronto, Canada for KennySantos.com. Let me tell you, or do you want to know about the power of vulnerability in network marketing? And the reason why I'm bringing this up is because in this profession, there is a lot of pretending. There's a lot of pretending that you're a rank that you're not. There's a lot of pretending that business is going well when it's really not. There's a lot of pretending that you're making more money that you're really not. And we think that pretending actually attracts more clients because you want to impress them. But ultimately, what attracts more is vulnerability. It's being real. And one of my good friends, actually a very good friend, met him in Salt Lake City. His name is Kramer Nunez. He's down in Peru right now, building an awesome business. He has spent the last couple years pretending, and this is not a big surprise. He actually, quote unquote, came out about his pretending in network marketing. And I want to tell you about the journey that kind of happened. And here's the thing is that the reason why a lot of people pretend is because they bring someone into the business and it's not going as well as they think it is or as they expected it to be. And what happens is maybe they want to switch to another company, but then they had built a team and they don't want to let their team down. So they kind of stay. And Kramer said it's kind of like being in a relationship that's over, but you're still there because you feel sorry for that person. And so Kramer Nunez, you know what? He had built a team. I'm not going to mention the company names because that doesn't matter. But he's telling me, Kenny, I'm gonna go to another company, but I'm still going to help my team. I'm not going to recruit, but I'm still going to help my team. And I said, Kramer, you can't do that. It's just not going to work out for you. You have to worry about yourself. You got a family to worry about. And you cannot be spending your energy helping someone else when you're trying to build a new team. It's just hard to do. And he was coming from the right place. His heart was coming from the right place because he just didn't want to, abandon his old team. But it just wasn't working out for him. He had to leave. So I said, you know what? Be vulnerable. And you know what? He did become vulnerable, and he told the truth. He said, and it was a big old video. And what was interesting was that a lot of people responded to that and said, wow, you know what are you doing now then? And he said, it's not as good as I've been making it out to be, and there was time when Kramer, he was hungry, like really hungry for food. There was days when he didn't eat, or down in Peru, I understand that you have to buy water. You can't just drink water out of the tap. And so, sometimes he couldn't even buy the water, or whatever the case may be. And so when he came out about the truth about what was happening, a number of people followed him. And this was just this past March. This is like talking about the last 30 days when all of this kind of unraveled. And I talked to him on the phone just yesterday. And what's pretty cool is that now, because he became vulnerable, it did a couple things. One, it made him free to celebrate even the little tiny successes, free to celebrate the little wins. The sad thing about this profession is that with all the pretending that's going on, let's say someone, they're pretending that they're making a lot of money, that when they finally make a certain rank, they don't get to celebrate it because everyone thinks they're that rank still. Or when they're finally making some significant money, they don't get to celebrate because everyone thinks that he's making that sort of money. And so, you know what? There's a lot of freedom in just being vulnerable and just telling the truth, because then you get to celebrate even the little wins. You know what? He gets to celebrate that he gets to eat, right? That sort of thing. And it's not about being vulnerable and then kind of allowing the tidal wave of people to follow you. That's not what happens. You know what? He still went to work, and he still, it allowed him to work harder and allowed him to celebrate the wins. And I asked him, hey, Kramer, what would have happened if you weren't vulnerable? Like, what do you think would have happened in your new business? And he said, you know what? I would have made enough to barely get by for the month of March. And I said, well, now that you did become vulnerable and allowed you to work more, allowed some people to follow you, what happened in your business? And let me pull it up. And this is what he did on his team. Now he has, in 30 days, 176 people in his downline. Let's see here, on his team. That expands through 4 countries: Japan, the Dominican Republic, US, and Peru. And also, look at this. Check this out. He has 2 people on his team making $2,000. All right? 3 people on his team, $1,000. 11 people on his team, $500 in 30 days. And then 36 people have all of their auto ship covered. Now, that's not as cool sounding as when someone says, hey, you know what, I made $10,000 in my first month, but this is believable and this is the truth. All right. So he could have, you know what, kept his pride and said, you know what, things are going well, you got to follow me. And you know what, admittedly, he said, wouldn't have been as good. But now look at these lives that he's changed. You know what, he made the new rank just by his fingernails. He has 50 people right now in his funnel because of lack of time. People are slipping through the cracks. People are contacting him now. And it's absolutely incredible. There's a lot of power in being vulnerable. You're stronger when you become vulnerable in this profession. And so there's a lot of pretending that goes on. My goodness, it's such a shame that all this pretending is going on simply because you don't get to celebrate the wins and you don't get to inspire others in the same way. And so kudos to you, Kramer, for having the courage to be vulnerable. And kudos to you for changing so many lives. I'm so excited for you, and I can't wait to see what the journey brings you in the future. Anyone else that's watching, I trust you got some great value out of this. What I invite you to do is this, is to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Oops. Also, if you want to see more videos just like this, go to my blog. It's kennysantos.com. You put your name and email, and you're going to get an awesome audio on growing your business. And remember this, every day, multiple times a day, the universe sends us miracles. And all we got to do is two things. All we got to do is recognize those miracles and accept them. All right, take care and create a great day.